I'm sure our next speaker, Dr. Michael Alexander, is full of passion. His topic, from economist to witness, the evolution of a career. From economist to witness, the evolution of a career, Dr. Michael Alexander.
When I was a junior in high school, my father started a tradition. Every week he would come home with a new career for us to talk about. So that when I went off to college, I'd know what I wanted to major in. Now, it changed every week after our discussions. And I wasn't committed, but at least I had a place to start. We looked ultimately at my interest in economics. My interest in mathematics and the environment and the way things worked, and ultimately decided that I should study economics. The other thing that was seminal in my career development was a study that came out my senior year of high school called the Limits to Growth Club of Rome model, in which they developed a model of the economy and evolution of use of resources and decided that the world was going to come to an end. Now, this, they said, was an unbelievable result. I looked at it. I talked with my teachers and realized that they started with Malthusian assumptions. They got Malthusian results. You build a model, you start here, you've got to go to there. And so I was ready when I went to school to study economics and resources and the environment. Within the first month of my first year of college, OPEC was formed and the price of oil went through the roof. And I said, wow, this is a chance to study a real life constraint point right in front of me. And I was hooked. I'm one of the few people you'll ever meet who can actually say that I spent my entire career doing what I went to college to do. And so I studied the math, I studied the resource work, and I got out and I was ready for my first job. I was going to work for an electric utility. Now, my hippie friend said, oh my God, you're going to be kicking people out of their homes on Christmas Eve. I didn't quite get that lucky. In fact, I didn't even get to cut off their power on Christmas Eve. But while my hippie friends were chaining themselves to fences to stop nuclear plants from being built, and the cops came around with wire cutters and just chopped them down, took them away, I worked for an electric utility. And I performed a study for that utility, which showed that the nuclear power plant didn't make sense. So they didn't stop it. I did. They went to jail. I got paid. This is a good thing. Now, not everything worked as well as you would expect, because when I started my first job, they did what they always do to people at their first job. They dumped a whole bunch of books on us and said, this is what we do, read this, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Well, by my second day, I read that the case that my manager was testifying in had been done by my predecessor, who made one of the great bonehead statistical errors of all time. I won't bother you with the math, but suffice it to say, I had to tell him, you can't use this study, it's a disaster. But I kept working. I kept working for the utility until the moment came when I got a job offer for a bank in Chicago. And I went out there and I had one of the greatest job interviews of all time. It started when the manager said, if these interviews go as we expect, by the end of the day, we'll make you a job offer. It was kind of a calm day and exciting and dramatic. And I got home and I said, I don't want to move. I don't want to pack. I wonder how much trouble I'd have getting out of my lease. And as I vocalized the word lease, there was a knock at my front door. Everyone out of the building, we're on fire. The fire started directly above my apartment. Some guy had left his towel wet in front of the heater. The fire went up, so I didn't have fire damage, but I had water damage like crazy. And I went to Chicago to work for a bank, and I learned more math. And then I spent a brief time working for the Air Force, of course, but I went back to get a job in Minnesota doing modeling of the resource use, electricity, gas, and oil, combined it with the studies of economic results in the state. And I got so excited by what I did and the model which I built that I convinced the governor to take my report on carbon neutral taxes and farm it out to the other 49 governors. And then they put me in charge of resource, utility, price modeling for the case studies. Did I tell you guys that I liked arguing? Did I tell you that the favorite note I had in my yearbook was to Michael, the only person I enjoy losing an argument to? I had the time of my life. Other people said, no, I don't want to be there. You guys know table topics? Do you like table topics? Imagine doing table topics for a living with one crucial exception. You have to tell the truth. It was a come down, but it was still fun. And ultimately, I wound up with publishing this book, Survive and Thrive on the Witness Stand. And I won over $1.4 billion for my clients. I loved energy modeling and I loved what I could do with it. And that's how my career evolved. Mr. Toastmaster,